The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Vice President Leni Robredo holds a mini rally over at Infanta, Quezon this morning. Let's get the latest on that with mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro reporting on the line from Infanta. Good morning, Jacob. What's the situation looking like over there?
Hi, Charles. Right now, the mini rally here in Infanta, Quezon actually just finished, and there are several thousands of supporters who came here. And, earlier it was really blazing hot under the heat of the sun, but now the skies are now clear. And the supporters are now, the supporters endured basically whether it was pouring rain, pouring drizzle, or the blazing heat of the sun as they watch all of their vets made their speeches.
All right, Jacob, could you tell us whether the VP has received any endorsements from the local candidates there in Quezon?
Actually, Charles, the Vice President didn't receive any official endorsement from any local candidate here or official here in Quezon. And that can be expected because the ruling Suarez political clan has already endorsed her rival, former Senator Bongbong Marcos. And, Suarez even promised Marcos that he would deliver around 300 to 400,000 more votes than any of Marcos's opponents. But then we should also remember that back in 2016, the Suarez clan also endorsed Marcos, but then Robredo still won big time with over 200,000 votes. And the supporters here are actually, appreciating more the responses that Robredo gave in the last couple of years, especially her quick response after several typhoons.
Jacob, I just have to ask, much has been said about the joint press conference that was held by other presidential candidates yesterday. Did we hear from the Vice President about this, and as well as the other highlights from her speech?
As of now, one of the highlights of her speech was that she promised to make sure that her administration, if she wins, to heed the voices more of the agricultural and indigenous people sector. Because here in Quezon, that's one of the, because here in Quezon, it's more of an agricultural-centered economy. She said that she will make sure that she will have a council that will heed the voices in every issue that will have an effect on the agriculture and the indigenous people sector. But when it comes to the reaction towards yesterday's press conference, Robredo hasn't actually made any new statement because we were supposed to have an ambush interview, but since the event has already been delayed, that was canceled or moved. But then Robredo's spokesperson, Attorney Barry Gutierrez, did release a statement saying that they only wish the best for all of the candidates who will continue with the election, but did admit that silence would have had more depth and had less self-entitlement and toxicity in its appearance. And Robredo also posted in her Facebook page yesterday, where she reminded her supporters that even though a lot was said about her, about their campaign, it's best not to be swayed by emotions, not to say any harmful words to others, and focus on the elections, especially with their planned house-to-house campaign on her birthday on April 23.
All right, Jacob, what does VP Robredo's schedule look like for the rest of the day?
Well, for the rest of the day, she'll be having another multi-sectoral meeting here in Quezon, but then after that, she will fly to Marinduque, where she will have a meeting with the diocese there, and another Grand People's Rally at night.
Thanks for those updates, Jacob. That was mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro reporting live from Infanta, Quezon. It has been over a week since the onslaught of Tropical Cyclone Agaton. But the number of reported deaths due to Agaton continues to rise. The NDRRMC reports that as of 8 a.m. today, a total of 172 people have died due to Tropical Cyclone Agaton. 8 people remain missing, while 110 are injured. Nearly 600,000 families have been affected by Agaton, and that is equivalent to over 2 million people living in about 2,400 barangays in 9 regions. The NDRRMC also reports that over 10,400 houses have been damaged by Tropical Cyclone Agaton. And the estimated cost of damage to agriculture has risen to almost 245 million pesos, while the cost of damage to infrastructure is almost at 7 million pesos. President Duterte visited an evacuation center in Pontevedra, Capiz, after Tropical Cyclone Agaton forced many residents to evacuate their homes. Duterte also led the ceremonial distribution of relief goods and assistance to some evacuees. The chief executive likewise led an aerial inspection of the affected communities. The northeasterly surface wind flow is affecting extreme northern Luzon. Despite this, Pag-asa says we can expect generally fair weather today for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Although the State Weather Bureau warns that isolated rain showers or thunderstorms may still be possible today. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. More passengers are rushing back to Metro Manila from the provinces today following the observance of Holy Week. Many of these commuters got off the PTEX this morning as they traveled back from their provinces. Terminals management says over 100,000 passengers arrived at PTEX on Easter Sunday. And as of 6 a.m. today, over 12,000 passengers have arrived at the terminal from their provinces. Workers have also returned to work as of this morning following the long weekend, and many of them are hoping to get a taxi over at EDSA Cubao. Commuters had a hard time catching a ride amid the inflow of passengers coming from the provinces. Lines at the EDSA bus carousel are also getting longer as commuters rush to get back to their hometowns. The Transportation Department continues to provide free rides to passengers along EDSA. Coming this year, an Apple Watch that has new health and fitness features, including a blood pressure checker and a blood sugar monitor. Let's watch this.
Apple's planning several new health features for the Apple Watch, including a blood pressure checker and new software to manage medications. Let me break it down. This year, we'll see many new features for the Apple Watch as well as the iPhone's health app. The Apple Watch Series 8 this fall is planned to get a new body temperature sensor to help measure fertility. That sensor, as early as next year, may also be able to tell users if they have a fever. Also coming this year is a new feature to measure AFib burden, or how often a person is in a state of atrial fibrillation over a certain period. New watch faces, a new low power mode, new sleep tracking features, new workout types, and a new medicine management feature in the health app are also coming. In addition to a standard Watch Series 8, Apple's also planning a new low-end Apple Watch SE and a new high-end watch with a rugged casing aimed at extreme sports athletes. Apple's also working to add satellite connectivity to the Apple Watch so the device can report emergencies and send short text messages in areas without cellular connectivity. Apple's, of course, also planning a similar feature for the iPhone for release as early as this fall. For as early as 2024, Apple's planning to add a new blood pressure checker app to the Apple Watch. For many years into the future, Apple's also eyeing a non-invasive blood sugar monitor. That, of course, would be a game changer for tens of millions of people. I'm Mark Gurman. This is Power On.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. Several groups and political parties slammed the joint press conference of Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, Senator Ping Lacson, and former Defense Secretary Norberto Gonzales on Easter Sunday, calling it elitist and macho politics. Some Holy Week traditions made a comeback this year, but some devotees were disappointed as other activities remain prohibited. And Barangay Ginebra is just one win away from snatching the Governor's Cup trophy after taking Game 5 in the PBA Finals. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.